It's funny. The people who talk about you the loudest are always the ones who think you are not listening. In life, disrespect rarely arrives as a shout. Sometimes it slips in quietly through a message never meant for your eyes. I have learned that age doesn't make you invisible, but some people treat you as though it does. I am Helen, and this is She Echoed, a place where the quiet truths we carry finally find their voice. If it touches something in you, don't forget to hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Your truth deserves to be echoed. And this story begins with a single message that changed everything. It happened on an ordinary Tuesday, the kind where you expect nothing more than a few greetings in the family group chat. The day had started gently, the way quiet mornings often do for a woman my age. The sun hadn't yet climbed fully over the rooftops, and a pale, calm light filtered through my living room curtains, painting soft rectangles across the floor. I remember standing there, holding my mug of chamomile tea, inhaling the steam as though it could steady me for whatever the day held. I had no idea what was waiting. In my family, the group chat was our little digital living room, messy, noisy, and full of love on most days. It was the place where my son, Daniel, sent blurry photos of my grandson eating cereal, where my daughter-in-law, Tessa, asked about recipes, where I shared updates about my garden, even when no one asked. I never expected it to become the place where I felt the sharpest sting of my life. But life rarely warned you before it teaches you something. I settled into my favorite armchair, the one with the softened fabric on the left side where my hand always rests. I scrolled through old pictures of Noah on my phone, smiling despite myself. I thought about the little boy who ran into my arms every Sunday shouting, "Grandma!" with an excitement that could melt mountains. My phone buzzed twice. 2 new messages in the family group. I took a sip of tea, bracing for another photo, another reminder for Noah's school fundraiser, or perhaps Daniel making another joke he thought was funnier than it actually was. But when I opened the chat, everything inside me stilled. The first line came from Tessa. "Honestly, I am tired of pretending. His mom is becoming a burden." The word burden was like a stone dropped in the quiet lake of my chest. It did not sink quickly. It spread, rippling through every memory, every moment, every sacrifice I had made for the family I built with my bare hands. I blinked slowly, reading it again, not because I didn't understand, but because I hoped I misunderstood. A few seconds later, another message appeared. Always asking questions, always trying to be involved. It's exhausting. The cup trembled slightly in my hand. My tea, still warm, suddenly tasted bitter. I read on, even though each sentence felt like it scraped another piece of tenderness off my heart. I pressed my lips together, swallowing a pain that felt strangely familiar. The kind I hadn't felt since Daniel was a teenager experimenting with rebellion, when he once told me I was doing too much. I never forgot that moment. Mothers rarely forget wounds, especially the ones delivered carelessly. But this was different. This wasn't a child speaking from immaturity or frustration. This was a grown woman, someone I welcomed into our family, someone I celebrated, supported, and prayed for, speaking as though I were dead weight tied to her ankle. What hurt even more was the assumption that I would never read it. The message that followed proved just that. Good thing she never checks this chat. She probably still thinks emojis are magic. There was a long, hollow silence inside me. Not anger, not even humiliation, just emptiness. A kind of quiet that doesn't come from peace but from shock. I lowered my phone onto my lap and stared out the window, watching the sunlight spread across my tiny garden. The roses were blooming, the soft pink ones Daniel planted for me on Mother's Day 3 years ago, the year Tessa was pregnant. I remember him standing there with dirt on his hands, smiling in that boyish way he still had back then. And now, his wife was talking about me like I was a nuisance, something to be handled. I thought of all the times I had helped Tessa. The early mornings I showed up to help with Noah. The nights I made soup when she wasn't feeling well. The words of encouragement I gave her when she doubted herself as a new mother. I never expected a grand thank you. I never expected perfect harmony. But I never imagined being seen as an inconvenience. I inhaled deeply, holding the breath in my chest, hoping it would anchor me. But the truth is, age doesn't protect you from hurt. It only teaches you how to hide it better. For a moment, I considered replying. I typed a few words, then deleted them. I read everything. Delete. I am sorry you feel this way. Delete. Why would you say this? Delete. My thumb hovered over the keyboard for what felt like a lifetime. Then I stopped. Not because I wanted to ignore it, but because rushing to respond would only deepen the wound. I needed clarity. I needed to understand whether I had unknowingly crossed boundaries or whether this was coming from a place inside Tessa that had nothing to do with me. I placed the phone face down on the table and let myself breathe. Truly breathe. For the first time since reading her words. The house felt unbearably quiet. The ticking of the wall clock seemed louder. Even the air felt colder, as if the insult had slipped into the room and settled in the corners. My thoughts spiraled gently, not in anger, but in reflection. Was I too involved? Had I overstayed my welcome in their lives? Was I holding on to traditions Tessa didn't care for? But somewhere beneath the doubt, a small, steady truth whispered. I have always shown love. I have always given kindness. And kindness is not a burden. Still, the sting remained, sharp and undeniable. I picked up the phone once more, staring at the chat. No new messages. No apology. No realization. Just the 3 lines that had changed the way I saw my place in their home. But even then, I didn't know that this message, this accidental confession, was only the beginning. Behind Tessa's careless words was a truth none of us had acknowledged. One that was about to unravel everything. And soon I would learn that the person I thought disliked me was actually fighting a battle I never knew existed. The hurt was real, but so was the truth hiding underneath it. And the truth always finds a way out.
I didn't sleep well that night. Even after I turned off the lights and pulled the blanket over myself, the words from the group chat kept echoing through the quiet of my bedroom. The sentence, "His mom is becoming a burden," burned in the back of my mind like a small but persistent flame. I had felt hurt before in my life, by friends, by strangers, by circumstances. But being wounded inside your own family, that is a different kind of pain. It carries weight. It presses on the heart slowly, the way time presses on old memories until they bruise. By morning, my eyes felt heavy and my body moved with the stiffness of someone carrying too much inside. That was when my phone rang. It was Daniel. For a few seconds, I just stared at the screen, the word Daniel glowing softly in the early morning light. My son, the one I raised with everything I had, the one who used to run to me after school with scraped knees and new stories, the one who once promised he'd take care of me when I get old. Now I wondered if he felt the same way his wife did. My voice wavered a little when I finally answered. "Hello, sweetheart." "Mom," he said, sounding distracted, rushed, unaware of the storm swirling in me. "Hey, I didn't see your message from last night. Everything okay?" My breath caught. My message, the one I typed and deleted, he didn't know anything. Not yet. "I am fine," I lied gently. "Just thinking about things." He paused, just long enough for me to hear the quiet clicking of his car indicator. "Are you sure? You sound tired." I almost told him right then, the words almost spilled. "Daniel, your wife said things about me, things that hurt." But something held me back, something old, something that belongs to mothers. I didn't want him to feel torn. I didn't want him sandwiched between two women he loved, and I didn't want to be the reason his home turned into a battlefield. So I swallowed it. "I am okay," I repeated. Well, listen, Mom. Tessa wants us all to have dinner this weekend. Can you come over Saturday night? Noah's been asking for you." My heart softened at the mention of my grandson, but the thought of sitting at the same table with someone who'd called me a burden the day before felt like walking barefoot across broken glass. "I will come," I heard myself say, because love makes us say yes to things even when our pride begs us to decline. "Great," he said brightly. "Tessa will be happy." Would she? I didn't know anymore. When we hung up, I sat with the phone in my lap for a long time. The house was still, too still. A part of me wished Daniel would somehow sense it, sense that something was wrong. But he didn't. He couldn't. He had no idea that half his world was hurting because of something the other half said. That afternoon, I tried distracting myself, watered the plants, folded laundry, rearranged the spices in my kitchen cabinets. None of it worked. The quiet kept returning, and so did the sting of those 3 messages. By evening, I made myself a cup of ginger tea and walked out to the small balcony. The sky was an inky blue, heavy with the scent of rain. My neighborhood always felt peaceful at night, with distant generators humming and porch lights flickering like small, warm fireflies. I needed air. I needed clarity. I needed courage. That was when the notification buzzed. A message. In the same family group chat. My chest tightened. Tessa. Again. I braced and opened it. "Daniel says Mom is coming for dinner Saturday. Can we please talk before then? I don't want awkwardness." I stared at the words. Not an apology, not acknowledgement, just concern about awkwardness. Something inside me, tired, patient, worn, slowly began to stiffen. Another message followed. I didn't mean for her to see the earlier messages, but since she probably didn't, were sign. That did it. Something changed in me. Not harshly, not with anger, but with a quiet, steady resolve I hadn't felt in years. A mother's silence can be gentle, but her dignity should never be misunderstood for blindness. I finally typed a response, slow, deliberate, with hands that no longer trembled. "Tessa, I saw the messages." I hit send before fear could stop me. The typing indicator on her end popped up immediately, then disappeared. Came back, disappeared again. For 2 full minutes, nothing came through. Then, "Helen, I didn't mean it like that." My eyebrows lifted. People only say that when they meant exactly what they said. I sat there on the balcony, the cool night breeze brushing my face, and for the first time in a long time, I let myself feel everything. Not anger, not bitterness, just truth. I typed again. "Let's talk on Saturday." Short, calm, final. Her reply came after a long time. "Okay." I locked my phone. The silence that followed didn't hurt this time. It felt like preparation, the quiet before something shifts. Because Saturday wasn't just going to be a dinner. It was going to be the moment everything changed. And none of them, not even me, were ready for what the truth was about to reveal.
Saturday arrived with the kind of stillness that feels like the air is holding its breath. I woke up earlier than usual, not because I was excited, but because part of me knew this evening would shape the way my family moved forward or fell apart. For years, I had learned to overlook small hurts, the subtle dismissals, the moments when Tessa's smile didn't quite reach her eyes. I told myself Daniel was happy, the kids were happy, and peace, even hollow peace, was worth protecting. But now, after everything that had been said, I could no longer pretend that silence was the path to harmony. Some truths insist on being faced. I spent the morning cleaning, not because anyone would see my home, but because it helped calm my mind. Dusting shelves, folding clothes, organizing old photographs, the ordinary rituals of a woman trying to steady her heart. By noon, I sat down with a notebook and wrote a few lines, things I wanted to remember. Dignity over anger. Clarity over confrontation. Speak only what strengthens the truth. Protect yourself without destroying them. Because despite everything, I still wanted a family, not a battlefield. The hours moved slowly. Rain clouds gathered in the sky, thick and heavy, as if nature itself sensed the tension inside me. Finally, at 5:30 p.m., I got dressed. I chose a simple navy blue gown. Nothing too formal, nothing too plain. Daniel always said blue made me look soft but strong. And tonight, I needed both. I wrapped a light shawl around my shoulders and looked in the mirror. My silver gray hair framed my face gently. My eyes, calm, a little tired, but steady, reflected the truth. I wasn't going there to fight. I was going there to reclaim the respect that had been quietly slipping from my fingers. At 6:10 p.m., I stepped outside. The air smelled like rain waiting to fall. I took a slow breath, whispered a small prayer, and got into the cab. When I arrived, the house felt different. Daniel's home was warm, well lit, and full of the familiar sounds of children laughing. But that evening, something in the space felt heavier, a quiet tension pulsing just beneath the surface. Noah, my grandson, spotted me first. "Grandma!" His small feet pattered across the living room, and he threw his arms around me with the kind of love that reaches deep into your bones. I held him close, inhaling the soft scent of his hair, a mixture of baby soap and sunshine. Daniel walked out next, smiling warmly. "Mom, I am glad you made it." He hugged me, and for a moment I let myself melt into the safety of my son's arms. But then behind him, I saw her, Tessa. She stood by the dining table, wiping non-existent crumbs, avoiding my gaze. Her shoulders were tense, her fingers fidgeted. The guilt was written all over her, even though she was trying to conceal it under polite composure. "Hello, Helen," she said softly. I nodded. Good evening. Just that. Calm, controlled. Sometimes dignity is the quietest voice in the room. Dinner was served. Roast chicken, jollof rice, salad, the usual dishes she prepared for family meals. But the warmth that normally filled their dining room was missing. Tonight, the clinking of cutlery sounded louder, the silence thicker. Daniel didn't know what had happened. He kept asking questions, telling stories from work, trying to keep the conversation flowing. He didn't notice the glances Tessa avoided. He didn't notice the stiffness in my shoulders. But mothers know everything. Halfway through the meal, Tessa set down her fork. Helen, she began, voice small. Before we finish dinner, I think we should talk. Daniel looked confused. Talk about what? My heart tightened for him. The last thing I wanted was for him to feel pulled into something he wasn't prepared for. So I stepped in gently. It's all right, Daniel. Let her speak. Tessa swallowed hard. Her eyes flicked to mine, then away, as if the truth weighed more than she expected. I didn't realize you saw the messages from the family group. I thought they were private. I shouldn't have said what I said. There it was. Not an apology for the words, just regret that I had seen them. But I had prepared myself for this. I folded my hands calmly on the table. Tessa, I said, I'm not here to argue about those words. I only want honesty. She shifted in her seat. Okay. Do you believe I'm a burden? Daniel's fork fell onto his plate with a sharp clatter. Tessa? He said, turning towards her. She froze. In that moment, the truth had nowhere left to hide. No, I was frustrated. I didn't mean. I lifted a hand, interrupting gently. Let me rephrase the question. Do you feel strained by how often I visit or how I help with the children? Do I make anything harder for you at home? Her face softened, but the guilt still flickered. It's not that. I was just overwhelmed that day. Work was stressful. The kids were crying. Daniel was working late. I said something stupid. I'm sorry. Finally, a real apology. Not perfect, not wrapped in understanding, but real. I nodded slowly. Thank you, I said. That means something to me. Daniel looked between us, clearly blindsided. I can't believe this happened, he said, voice low. Mom, I'm so sorry. I reached for his hand, squeezing it gently. Daniel, I said, sometimes families hurt each other in small moments. What matters is whether we grow from it. Tessa's eyes filled, not with dramatic tears, but with the kind people try to hide. I don't want you to feel unwelcome here, she whispered. Her voice cracked slightly, betraying the truth beneath her defenses. And I don't want to feel unwelcome. I just want respect. There was silence, but this time it wasn't heavy. It was careful. It was rebuilding. Noah climbed into my lap, wrapping his little arms around me. Grandma, why is everyone quiet? He asked innocently. We all laughed, shaky, relieved laughter that softened the edges of the moment. Dinner continued, no longer tense, but tender in an uncertain, healing way. Because what had started as a dinner was becoming the beginning of a shift none of us saw coming. A shift that would demand honesty. A shift that would test loyalty. A shift that would reveal something deeper than any of us realized. And long before the night ended, I began to understand. This wasn't a story about hurt. It was a story about truth finding its way into a family that had forgotten how to speak it. The rest of dinner moved with an uneasy calm, like waves settling after a storm, but never fully resting. We cleared the plates, packed leftovers, and guided the children to their beds. By the time the house quieted, only the soft hum of the refrigerator and the rain outside filled the silence. I thought the evening was coming to an end, a shaky but hopeful step toward healing. I believed the worst was behind us. But sometimes, the truth waits until you're tired, until your guard is down, to deliver its final blow. Daniel set a tray of tea on the coffee table and motioned for me to sit. "Mom," he said gently, "I want you to know I'm grateful for everything you do. I don't ever want you to feel unwanted in this home." I smiled softly. "I know, Daniel, and I appreciate that more than you know." Tessa lingered near the hallway, arms wrapped around herself, as if unsure whether she was welcome to join the conversation. I gestured toward the couch. "Sit with us," I told her. She hesitated, then walked over slowly, eyes focused on her hands. "I really am sorry," she murmured again. "Sometimes I let stress get the better of me." "I accept your apology," I replied gently, "but just so you understand something, I've never wanted to intrude. I only step in to help because I care." She nodded. "I know, and I should have respected that. It wasn't perfect peace, but it was something like progress. At least, it felt like progress. Until everything changed." Daniel's phone buzzed. Once, twice, 3 times. He frowned and picked it up. His eyebrows drew together, his expression shifting from confusion to shock to something sharp and cold. "Tessa," he said quietly, "what is this?" She stiffened. "What?" He turned the phone toward her. I didn't want to pry, but the way she froze, utterly still, completely pale, told me this was not a simple notification. Daniel's voice remained calm, but I could feel the tremor beneath it. "Why?" he asked slowly. "Is the family group screenshot here? And why is there more?" My chest tightened. "More?" I whispered. Daniel swallowed hard. "Yes, Mom, there's more." He handed me the phone. My fingers trembled slightly as I took it. There, in the bright glow of the screen, was a message I had never seen. Sent by Tessa, written moments after she thought I had left the group, or perhaps moments after she believed I would never see it. Honestly, I can't keep pretending. Her mother is always around, always acting like she knows better. She's draining. I wish she would stay in her own house and let us live our lives. A slow exhale escaped me. My heart didn't break, not this time. No, this time it settled into a firm, steady ache. Daniel looked at me, hurt flashing through his eyes. "Mom," he said, "I had no idea. I thought it was just that one message. I thought it was a mistake." Tessa's eyes filled with panic. "Daniel, please." But he cut her off with a raised hand, not harshly, but with a clarity I had rarely seen him in. "No, this is not okay. You spoke to my mother with disrespect. You spoke about her with disrespect, and you expected her to swallow it quietly." "I wasn't thinking." "That's the problem. You weren't thinking about how it would hurt her, or me, or our family." His voice cracked slightly, a sound that pierced the air and softened something deep in me. I touched his arm. "Daniel," I whispered, "this doesn't have to become a war." He turned to me, eyes still shining with shock and frustration. "But Mom, I am not here to take your home apart. I am here to make sure we don't lose each other in misunderstandings." That was the truth. I wasn't interested in punishing Tessa. I wasn't interested in winning anything. I just wanted respect. But Daniel wasn't finished. He stood slowly and faced his wife.
You owe my mother more than an apology. You owe her honesty. Why do you feel this way? Why didn't you talk to me instead of venting to everyone else?" Tessa pressed her forehead, inhaled shakily. "It's not that I hate her. Sometimes I feel judged. Like I'm not doing enough. Like I'm failing." My breath caught. Judged? By me? I leaned forward gently. "Tessa, I never meant to make you feel inadequate. If anything, I admire how hard you work." She looked up, eyes wide with surprise. "I only offer help when I see you overwhelmed, not because you're failing, but because motherhood is heavy. I remember that weight. I know what it does to a person." A tear slipped down her cheek. "I'm sorry," she said, and this time the apology was whole, raw, and real. "I let resentment build up and I took it out in the worst way. You didn't deserve that." Daniel exhaled, tension draining from his shoulders. "Thank you," he whispered. This is all we needed. Honesty." The clock on the wall ticked softly. The rain outside softened into a gentle drizzle. Something warm, tentative, but hopeful settled between the three of us. Maybe healing wasn't dramatic. Maybe it wasn't loud. Maybe it was simply choosing to sit together, even after the worst words had been spoken. And in that quiet, fragile moment, I understood this wasn't the end of a family. It was the beginning of how we would learn to truly be one. I didn't sleep that night. Even after the house became quiet, after the final cup in the sink had dried, after the ticking of the clock became the only companion in my living room, I stayed awake. Not out of anger anymore, but out of something deeper, a quiet, aching resolve. I kept hearing my daughter-in-law's words in the family chat, replaying like a stubborn echo in the corners of my mind. "She's always in the way. Useless old woman. I wish she'd stop acting like she matters." I wasn't crying anymore. Tears had done their part. Now came the thinking. I sat on the edge of my sofa, hands wrapped around a warm mug, letting the steam touch my face. When you're older, silence stops being empty. It becomes a room where truth slowly arranges itself. By morning, everything inside me was clear. I didn't want to fight. I didn't want revenge. I didn't even want an apology, at least not the kind that comes quickly and without thought. What I wanted was dignity. Something I realized I had slowly been handing away piece by piece over the years, believing that love meant never protecting myself. But love needs boundaries, the way homes need walls. And that morning, for the first time in a long while, I quietly began rebuilding mine. The family meeting request. By noon, I sent a single message to the family chat, the same chat where the insult had been thrown like a stone. "We need to talk. In person." 5 simple words. Within seconds, my phone buzzed. "Daniel. Mom, what happened? Are you okay?" "Kimberly. Is everything all right?" And then silence. No message from my daughter-in-law. Of course, guilt makes people quiet. Daniel called instantly, his voice frantic and thick with worry. "Mom, did something happen? Why did you send that message?" I took a breath. Steady, calm. "Yes, something happened, and I want us all to discuss it. I'd prefer if you and Mia came in the evening." He hesitated,
That kind that comes when someone knows there is a truth waiting at the door. Okay, Mom, we'll be there. Preparing my home and my heart. All day I cleaned. Not because I wanted the house to look perfect, but because cleaning is how older women prepare for emotional storms. We don't grab shields, we sweep floors. We don't raise our voices, we polish surfaces. We make the home steady, so our hearts can be too. I didn't rehearse what I would say, not even once. I trusted that whatever came out of my mouth would be the truth. And the truth doesn't need a script. By evening, my hands felt steady again. The arrival. At exactly 6:07 p.m., the doorbell rang. Daniel stood there with shoulders tight and eyes uneasy. Beside him, Mia looked smaller than usual. No eyeliner, no loud earrings, no tight smile. Her arrogance was gone, replaced by a kind of nervous humility. "Come in," I said softly. They stepped inside. Daniel sat first. Mia sat next to him, but slightly turned away, like the sofa itself made her uncomfortable. Good. Some moments deserve discomfort. The conversation began. "Mom," Daniel started, "can you please tell us what's wrong? You're scaring us." I nodded, then turned to Mia. She couldn't meet my eyes. "Yesterday, I read everything that was said about me in this chat." Daniel frowned. "Chat? What chat?" I unlocked my phone, opened the family group, scrolled to exactly the message, and placed the phone on the table. Daniel leaned forward, and then he froze. His whole face hardened. "Mia," he said slowly, voice low with disbelief. "You wrote this?" She swallowed. I didn't think she would see it." My heart, it tightened at that. Not because she insulted me, but because the insult mattered less to her than the fact I saw it. "Mia," gently, "I'm not here to shame you. I'm not here to shout. I just want you to understand something." She looked up, reluctantly. When you marry into a family, you don't marry perfect people. You marry history. You marry flaws. You marry love that existed long before you entered the picture. Her eyes softened just a slightly. "I have never disrespected you. Never once. Not to your face, not behind your back. If you found something I did annoying, you could have spoken to me directly, with respect." She wiped a tear quickly, almost angrily. I was stressed. I said it without thinking." Words said without thinking are often the truest ones. Silence, a heavy one. Daniel's voice was quiet, but furious. "You don't talk to my mother like this, ever." Mia flinched. I know. I'm sorry." Daniel looked at me. "Mom, what do you want us to do?" I took a slow breath, and then I said the words that had been sitting inside my chest all night. "I want respect, and I want boundaries. I will not stay in places where I am unwanted. So going forward, if there is something bothering either of you, you will speak to me directly. Not in secret, not in frustration, and not in a place where you think I can't hear. Daniel nodded immediately. Mia nodded too, hesitantly, but sincerely. And I said softly, I forgive you, but forgiveness doesn't erase the lesson. It just makes room for a better future. Mia burst into quiet tears. I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. I nodded. And in that moment, not because of her apology, but because of the truth in her eyes, the knot in my chest finally loosened. A new beginning. They stayed for dinner. It wasn't perfect. The air wasn't magically healed, but it was honest. And honesty is enough to start again. Before they left, Mia hugged me tightly. Thank you for not giving up on us. I patted her back gently. We're family. We don't give up. We just correct the path. As the door closed behind them, I exhaled deeply. Not in relief, but in peace. I had found my voice. And this time, they had heard it. For the next several days, my house felt unusually still. Not lonely, not cold, just still. Like the air was catching its breath after a long storm. Sometimes healing doesn't come with fireworks. It comes with a quiet rearranging inside you, a gentle gathering of the broken pieces you didn't know were scattered. That was me. For the first time in years, I wasn't moving around my home on tiptoe, afraid of being too much or in the way. I wasn't overthinking every visit, every comment, every small interaction with my son and his wife. I had spoken. They had listened. Now, the silence wasn't an absence. It was a confirmation. A knock at the door. On Thursday evening, just as the sun dipped low and stretched golden light across my hallway, there was a knock at my door. Not hurried, not loud, just gentle. I opened it, expecting Daniel, but it was Mia, standing alone. No makeup, no armor, just a woman who looked like she had been doing a lot of thinking. Hi, she said softly. Hello, dear. Come in. She stepped inside, and for the first time since she married my son, she looked uncertain in my home. Not because she felt superior, but because she finally understood the weight of walking into someone else's heart. She held a small box in her hands. I wanted to talk to you, she began. I nodded and motioned for her to sit. The confession. She placed the box on the table, but didn't open it. I have been thinking a lot about what you said, about how I spoke to you, about how I didn't respect you the way I should have. Her voice cracked at the edges. My mother wasn't warm. She never let me make mistakes without punishing me for them. So whenever I feel judged or stressed, I get defensive. I lash out. It's not an excuse, but it's why I said what I said. I listened.
not as a judge, not as a victim, but as a woman who had seen many storms and understood where they came from. She swallowed. I hurt you because I didn't know how to handle my own insecurities, and I'm ashamed. Truly. Thank you for saying that, I replied softly. It takes strength to see your own shadows. Her eyes filled with tears. I want to do better, Helen. I want you to feel safe in this family. I want you to feel valued, not tolerated, not sidelined. And I know I haven't done a good job of that so far. She finally opened the box. Inside was a small framed photo, one Daniel had taken years ago. It was of me holding my grandson, both of us laughing at something silly he said. My face wasn't posed or careful or polite. It was pure joy. She printed this, she said shakily, because Daniel told me it's his favorite picture of you. He said it reminds him of who you are and who he wants in his life. I want to remember that too. I want to remember the woman you are, not the woman I assumed you were. My throat tightened, not from pain this time, but from something sweeter. Recognition, respect, maybe even love, the early kind, the tender kind. Mia, I said quietly, we all come with wounds we didn't ask for, but it's what we do with them that matters. You came here today not to defend yourself, but to grow. That means more to me than anything. She wiped her eyes. Can we start over? I reached across the table and touched her hand. Yes, I said. We can. A turning point. Later, we walked to the kitchen together. For the first time, she didn't sit while I made key. She stood beside me, helping, asking questions, laughing softly when I teased her about using too much sugar. It felt natural, not forced, not awkward, just two women trying, really trying, to meet each other in a different place. She stayed for an hour, and when she left, she hugged me tightly, her arms not stiff like before, but warm, sincere, real. Thank you, she whispered against my shoulder, for not giving up on me. I smiled. Families don't give up. They grow. A quiet change. Over the next few weeks, everything shifted. Subtly, gently, beautifully. Mia called just to check on me. She asked for recipes. She sent photos of my grandson learning to write his name. She invited me over without Daniel prompting her. And every now and then, she apologized again, not because she needed to, but because she was healing something inside herself. Daniel noticed too. One evening, he pulled me aside. Mom, I don't know what you said to her that night, but thank you. I've never seen her try this hard. I smiled. Sometimes people don't need punishment. They need clarity and a little grace. He hugged me, and in that moment, I realized something. I hadn't just found my voice, I had changed the echo of our entire family. A message in the group chat. Days later, I opened my phone and saw a new message in the family group. From Mia. Not an insult, not a complaint. Just a simple, heartfelt line. Grateful for the family I married into, especially you, Mom.
I stared at it, warmth spreading through my chest. I didn't reply right away. I let the moment sit there, a quiet testament to how far we had come. Then I typed, "Thank you, dear. We grow together." And for the first time, the family chat didn't feel like a place where I needed to hide my heart. It felt like home. Time has a way of softening sharp edges, especially when people decide to stop fighting and start listening. Weeks turned into months, and slowly, almost invisibly, the atmosphere of our family changed. Not because everything became perfect, but because we began choosing kindness over pride, clarity over assumptions, presence over ego. It didn't happen overnight. Healing never does. But it happened in the way new seasons do, quietly, then all at once. A new kind of invitation. One Saturday morning, I was in my garden trimming the jasmine vines when my phone buzzed. A message from Mia. Not a request, not an apology, just an invitation. The simple kind that comes from comfort, not obligation. "Mom, we're making dinner tonight. Please come. I want to show you something." I read the message twice. Not because I doubted it, but because it felt like a full circle moment I hadn't seen coming. I sent a small, "Of course, dear," and smiled to myself as I set my phone aside. There was a sweetness in the air that morning, a gentle promise that the day held something meaningful. A home that finally felt like family. That evening, I walked into their house to the smell of roasted herbs and warm bread. Their dining table, usually half set or cluttered with mail, was beautifully arranged. Candles, clean plates, a small bouquet of lavender in the center. Mia came out of the kitchen wiping her hands on a towel. Her face lit up when she saw me. "Mom, you're here!" The words were simple, but the tone, that tone carried softness, intention, respect. Daniel hugged me next, his smile easy, unburdened. "Sit, Mom. We've been excited to have you." For the first time in a long time, I felt not like a visitor, not an observer, not a burden they had to make room for, but a woman they wanted in their home. The small box on the table. Halfway through dinner, Mia reached under the table and placed a small wrapped box in front of me. "Oh, what's this?" I asked. She looked shy for a moment, a rare vulnerability for her. "Just something I wanted to give you." I opened it carefully. Inside was a delicate bracelet, simple, silver, elegant. On it, a tiny charm shaped like a heart. Not flashy, not extravagant, but meaningful in a quiet, deliberate way. I found it last week, and it reminded me of you. Graceful, steady, not loud, but strong. Her voice trembled. "I didn't see you before. Not really. I only saw my fears, my insecurities. But now, I see the woman who raised the man I love, the woman who shows up even when she's hurt, the woman who chooses grace when others would choose anger." Her eyes glistened with emotion. "I hope one day I can be more like you." Silence fell, the warm kind, the healing kind. Daniel placed his hand over mine. "Mom, you deserve this peace." And for the first time in years, I believed him. The grandson's gesture. As the evening went on, my grandson climbed onto my lap, his small hands wrapped around my arm. "Grandma," he's whispered, "Mom said we're gonna see you more." I brushed his hair gently. "I'd like that very much." He smiled. "I like when you read to me. Mom said it's your special voice." I laughed softly. Children always see the truth long before adults do. A quiet walk home. Later that night, Daniel walked me to my car. The moon was soft above us,
hanging low like a lantern guiding the last steps of a long journey. "You know, Daniel," he said, hands in his pockets, "I used to think families just fit, that if something felt wrong, it meant someone wasn't trying. But I'm starting to see that love isn't automatic, it's built." I nodded gently. "And rebuilt." He exhaled, a sound of relief more than regret. "Thank you, Mom, for not walking away, even when we made it hard to stay." I touched his arm. "Thank you for meeting me halfway." The echo of a better tomorrow. When I came home that night, I set the bracelet on my dresser and looked at it for a long moment. Not because of its beauty, though it was lovely, but because of what it represented. Not victory, not revenge, not punishment, but recognition, healing, growth. 3 things that arrive only after people put down their weapons and pick up their honesty. Families don't heal because everyone is perfect. They heal because someone chooses to go first. And maybe, just maybe, in our family, I had been that someone. The peace that finally arrived. As I turned off the lights and prepared for bed, I realized something. I no longer felt invisible. I no longer felt like a shadow in my own family. I no longer carried the sting of that cruel message in the family chat. Those words had once made me question my place. But now, they felt like a chapter from a story that no longer defined me. Because respect had replaced resentment. Understanding had replaced assumptions. Connection had replaced distance. And love, the real grown-up kind, had finally taken root. I lay down that night with a quiet heart. Not because everything was perfect, but because everything was finally possible. And that was enough. In every family, words are powerful. Some heal, some wound, some echo far longer than the person who spoke them ever intended. But this story reminds us of something deeper. Respect should never depend on age, status, or convenience. Helen was dismissed because she was older, quieter, and easy to overlook. But true character is shown not in how we treat the people we admire, but in how we treat the people we assume will never fight back. Respect is not a favor, it is a responsibility. Sometimes the greatest strength is staying calm when others expect you to break. Helen didn't shout, she didn't curse, she didn't seek revenge. She simply allowed the truth to reveal itself. And when it did, the ones who judged her had no choice but to face who they had become. Silence is not weakness. Grace is not surrender. Sometimes it is the quietest person in the room who holds the most power. Growth begins the moment we choose understanding over pride. Daniel and Mia didn't change because they were forced. They changed because truth humbled them. Families heal not when everyone is right, but when someone chooses to listen. Sometimes the most courageous thing we can do is admit we were wrong. The heart always knows where home truly is. Despite the betrayal, despite the hurt, despite the cruel words typed in haste, Helen never stopped loving her family. And love, when it is patient, steady, and sincere, has a way of calling people back to themselves. She walked into a storm alone. She walked out with her dignity restored, not because others gave it to her, but because she never surrendered it. What is meant for you will never pass you by. Respect, love, belonging, peace. They may be delayed, but they always find their way to the one who carries themselves with truth. Helen didn't chase validation. She lived her truth, and life honored her for it. Thank you for spending your time with me. If this story touched something in you, share your thoughts in the comments. Your truth deserves to be echoed. This is She Echoed, where every story finds its voice.